Okay, we're live on my phone. Okay, so we're group 4, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, group 4, servant leadership. We're...
Project 1.
Yeah, project 1, our introduction project.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Do you want me to just read since you don't have the question and we can go from there?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. So the first one is the history of your community partner, and our community partner is Joppa. So how was Joppa started? When and for what reason? How has it changed in any way over time? For my answer, I just put that Joppa Outreach was funded in December of 2008 in Des Moines. And I put that it was funded by Joe Stevens and his wife Jackie and their son Caleb. They decided they wanted to find a way to help the homeless people of Des Moines. Started an organization that shares the mission of letting homeless people in Des Moines know that they are cared for, and then that it was a local volunteer-driven organization with 90% of the benefits going right back into the community.
Yep.
That's pretty much exactly what I have as well.
Yeah. Right off the website.
Do you know anything different from working with Joppa prior?
I don't. I haven't met with the founders or anything previously.
Yeah.
So.
I should probably specify, does my name say Stephanie?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does. I'm Shawndell. I'm going to switch my Google Live account next week or whenever we do it next, but I had to use somebody else's login today.
Yeah,
anyway,
so we've got...
When I first added you to this, I was like, wait a second, that wasn't her name. But then I forgot that I was putting email in.
I need to message one of my friends, and I said, can I use your Google, your YouTube?
All right, so this is Shawndell, this is Paige, and I'm Amanda. And I'm not going to have the screen be looking at me. I don't like the big screen on myself.
Oh, this is great. Okay, for the second one, it was missions and values. It says, what is the mission, core values, and objectives? I just had for mine, I said it is a local volunteer-driven organization with less than 10% overhead, which means 90% of each gift benefits the people most in need right here in our Des Moines community.
Yep.
I don't know if you had anything different.
I have Joppa's mission is to create communities of unconditional love, support, and hope for the homeless as we work together to prevent and ultimately end homelessness. I saw that quote on their website.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, so I included that, and I said they do this through outreach of housing, aftercare, education, and advocacy.
Yep.
So
they do a really good job with making the homeless people of Des Moines really feel included and like citizens and just loved, because a lot of those people don't have family, or their family may be part of the reason why they're homeless in the first place. So yeah, they do a really good job of making everyone feel really included, and it's a big family.
That's awesome. That was when we were, the last question on this, when they were talking about how it's different. Like, it seems like that they do try to be inclusive, and it's not just a shelter. And
yeah.
I'm excited to work with them, actually.
Me too.
I wish we were all doing it together.
Yeah. I think
the same hours.
I think we'll be together a couple days.
Yeah.
So
let me know when we're done with this. Let me know the days that you guys are doing, especially the full day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whenever she gets back to me or whenever I can call her again.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so for the next question, programs and services. What general and specific programs does Joppa offer, when, and why? So I put, Joppa provides programs and resources for housing, education, food, and other basic living supplies for those who are homeless in the Des Moines area. They also develop fundamental solutions like tiny home villages and Joppa Kids, which is an education program that works to prevent homelessness in future generations. All of this is to aid in getting people of our community off the streets, but helping them while they are still there.
Yep.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, yeah, they're there to help the people who are homeless and help people get homes and have a place to live and jobs and warm clothing in the winter. And they've taken like heaters to the little tent villages they have when it's really cold.
I saw the video.
Yeah. And that's so helpful. I mean, they don't even know.
Is that still through donations, like propane and heaters and things like that?
Yeah, so they do a lot so they get a lot of like food and clothing donations, but they also just get a lot of money donations. And so with the money, they either buy more food or buy tents and give those out, or the propane heaters and give those out.
Right.
Some of them are just like loaned for the certain season and then they take them back. But like tents and stuff, they usually do like a few giveaways a year, I think, of like a whole big like tent and food and like a little generator and a fridge and stuff like that, so that like one person in the camp at least can have like a really nice shelter to maybe keep things on loan for other people, or they donate it to a family, like a bigger family that needs a large tent so they can be together.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So sad.
I like how it's like all donation stuff too. Like there's no like government from like reading it.
Yeah, it's all Des Moines area people with big hearts, and you know, they donate food and clothing and they donate their time. There's so many church groups associated with Joppa, and they'll go out on Sunday afternoons and do the actual outreach. And then they've got volunteers that put together the meals and everything, and that's who I've worked with in the past, is just volunteers that are there to...
I think that's one of the ones we signed up for, where we prepare the meals in the morning and then do the outreach and deliver them in the evening or that evening.
Yeah.
So that'll be to see a full circle, like the entire process.
Yeah, it's exciting. The building is really cool too. It's in like this old, kind of rundown looking building on the outside, but the inside is all like original wood floors, and it's just a nicer, like they've kept it up from the past, like kept up the building, and there's a whole bunch of like little offices in there, but they've got a really nice kitchen and a little office and tons of organization. I mean, they're just busy.
Wonderful. That kind of leads into the next question. It says, people served. What sort of people do your CP serve? Age, gender, number, economic status, ethnicities, cultures, religions. I just basically said anyone in the community that is homeless or was homeless. And it doesn't have an age, gender, or race.
Right.
Helps children and adults.
Yeah.
I saw that it also is like between 250 and 300 people.
Yeah.
A lot.
That is a lot.
It is.
So the area that the tour took place, was that down by the college, like down by the river and all of that?
Yeah, so the area is called the River Bend, and it's literally if you're like at the college and you go across that bridge, it's just like literally right on the other side.
That's what I thought, and that's why I think I see so many people standing in that area off the interstate on the ramps. Yeah. I never really connected the two. I knew that there was a lot of homelessness and that a lot of them lived down there, but now, like, reading about this, I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to see that guy when we go, you know, or it's just thinking about those things. And
yeah.
And what was cool is, like, a lot of the different places that we could have volunteered at are literally, like, all in that same area.
Yeah.
So, like, when we did our River Bend walk, there was, I mean, probably 19 plus organizations that, like, were all within, like, I'll say, like, a mile radius.
Wow.
In that area. Yeah. So it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's also good that it's like in that area because clearly those people are in need.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, definitely.
And especially like I was telling you guys earlier, the food that people don't take, they end up taking that to, it's usually CIS, Central Iowa Shelter and Services. It's just another shelter downtown. It's actually a really nice place. They've got like social workers and stuff there too, but they'll take that food to the shelter so it can be given out to other homeless people.
That's good. So it's being put to use at least.
Yeah. They all kind of work together, and Joppa really tries to get people from homelessness to Central Iowa Shelters and Services. They've got it's like their dorms are like a really big like locker room type thing with bunk beds the whole way through. I think they said they've got 30-something women's beds and like 50-something men's beds.
Oh my. That's a lot.
Yeah, and they have to follow certain rules to be a part of the shelter. That place is really cool too.
Yeah. Did they give an average of how many people, I didn't find it on the website, where they've gotten them off the streets and into a stable living situation over the years?
I didn't see anything like that either.
Yeah, I don't see anything like that either.
I'll be interested to find out if they do follow-ups or how long their follow-up goes to see how people maintain once the streets are given somewhere to stay.
You guys said you watched a few of the videos on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had quite a few stories of them taking people from the streets and getting them into apartments and with social work and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's pretty frequently they try to get people off the streets, and I'm sure they keep up with them, and because just getting them an apartment isn't enough. They still need help finding a job and clothing to wear to their job and food, and how are they going to pay their utilities, and transportation to get to their job. Can they afford a bus pass? Is it close enough to walk? There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Which Joppa doesn't do transportation stuff.
No,
I didn't think about that.
No, okay. But they can always refer them to other programs in the Des Moines area that will help them.
Right, I'm sure they are in contact with a lot of places like that, like transportation and food and things like that.
Yeah.
Post getting them off the street.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, what's the next one? Mission and values. What is the community partner's mission, core values, and objectives?
I think we covered that.
I think we went over this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Unless
we just talked pretty much about the programs and services, because we talked about the housing, education, and the
right
Joppa kids.
The demographics, what type of community? I feel like that's kind of the same question.
Yeah.
But specific community needs to be addressed by the community partner. I just put that the agency is located in Des Moines, and I provided the address. It's an urban inner city area of Des Moines. Specific communities being addressed are those in the Des Moines area. So there's no restraints on who becomes homeless. So anyone who needs assistance is welcome to reach out to Joppa Services. Also, they come to them in the Riverbend area.
Bless you.
Thanks. Yeah, I essentially have the same thing.
Yeah.
Economy, what kind of community economics are present? Any evidence of underserved issues, food and shelter and security safety concerns?
Yeah, especially with recently we've had some bad weather. A few weeks ago there was that hailstorm and just high winds and lots of rain, and especially if they're down in the Riverbend area, flooding is huge. And they're living in tents, and everything they have they carry in a backpack, and they're not protected from weather and cold or heat. You know, the summer is almost scarier than the winter. You can always, you know, put more clothes on, and I think people are more giving in the winter time because they're like, oh no, people can't be left in the cold. It's cold, you know. They need more shelter, and they've got hats and socks and big coats and those big like Carhartt overalls. But people don't realize that when it's 110 degrees outside and they're in a plastic box, I mean, like, a tent is just going to soak in that heat. And heat exhaustion and heat stroke is a huge deal, you know, and they don't have clean water, so they have to boil water, and then they're drinking hot water because they don't have anywhere to cool the water. So, and that's even if they can start a fire. If it's rainy and all the wood is wet, they can't start a fire to boil their water or cook their food. And they don't just have a microwave to pop it in, you know. It's a whole nother world.
And there's no way to even keep cool because there's no way to plug a fan in. There's no way, I mean, if there's no wind, it's just hot.
Yeah.
Like you said, those tents are humid and sticky and not at all comfortable.
And, you know, they tried to, like, get in the water to cool off, but then there's, you know, can they swim? They're getting in the river. There's a current. What are children doing to stay cool? You know, like, little kids that can't swim, and or the elderly that are out there, you know, it's... And another problem is they try to get people from homelessness to having an apartment and a job and all of that, but a lot of the time those people are homeless because they have mental illness and they can't hold down a job, and they can't do that because they can't afford their medication. And that's not going to change if you get them an apartment. They're just still not going to be able to hold down a job because they still can't pay for their medication, and then they're going to end up back homeless. And it's just a vicious cycle.
Right. No, I agree. And another thing I was thinking about is I remember a few years ago them talking about fires in the winter from, like, trying to stay warm, and campfires or campsites catch on fire from a campfire or a heater or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
I would say that is definitely, like, a safety risk and concern.
Absolutely.
Is there theft? Have they talked about that as far as, like, from campsite to campsite, you know?
I'm sure, you know.
Which is so awful if you think about it, like, for them to already be homeless and have so little, and then someone just come by and steal their stuff that maybe already has something like that, or, like, is homeless as well. Like, you're, like, that's awful.
Yeah.
Like, taking something from someone who doesn't have anything.
Well, and then, you know, that makes them not want to leave their campsite, not want them to leave their things. So that makes having a job difficult because, you know, they don't lose your things. Yeah, they don't want to lose their things. You know, they keep what they can carry.
Everywhere, and that's a hassle.
Yeah.
Right. Not only a hassle, but, like, I'm sure it's challenging. And I thought about this when I see people that are panhandling. I'm like, people can say, well, why don't they just get a job? But a lot of places, if they walked in like that, they're not going to say, would you like a job? Have the means to even help themselves at a certain point to secure a job. Right. And then, like you said, the whole new obstacle and hurdle of leaving your campsite and possibly losing what little you do have.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a vicious cycle.
Even a minimum wage job, you still have to buy your uniform and proper shoes to wear at your job. I know none of my employers have ever, you know, given me a uniform. You know, a t-shirt is usually like $15. And, like, where are they going to find that $15? They can't even feed themselves, you know?
Right.
And it's just...
point, like, the employer would be understanding and just, like, giving that to them.
Right.
To help them get started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or, you know, take it from their first couple paychecks, little by little, and stuff like that. I mean, how hard could it hurt you to give one person a t-shirt, you know,
Right.
or be a little lenient on the dress code for the first couple paychecks and stuff like that. But,
Right.
you know, it takes special people to be that accepting. And especially when it's like a corporate kind of job, it doesn't really matter if the manager is okay with it. The corporation has these rules, and the manager could get in trouble for being lenient. And, you know, it only takes one person to complain that that employee looks kind of dirty, you know, like
he hasn't showered because he probably
hasn't. Yeah. There's a car wash downtown. It's kind of out by Joppa. There's a little, like, hand car wash. You know, you put your quarters in and spray down your car yourself. And I saw a family in there spraying each other down. Like, that's their shower. I was going to go wash my car. And I was like, you know what? I've got a whole bag of quarters. Here's your quarters. You know, I can't invite you to my house to take a shower, but here's quarters so you can shower for the next week, maybe.
That was really nice of you.
Or by dinner or something, you know. I always hate when they're standing by the interstate and I'm like, I want to give you something. Like, I want to give you food or money or socks. I mean, I volunteered at SIS one day for, it was the class I took with Dr. Joe last semester, and volunteered there for a day, and they didn't have any underwear. We worked in the clothing closet that they have there, and they let people who live there and just homeless in the community take, like, kind of one of everything, you know, a shirt, a pair of pants, some shoes, socks. And women were coming in asking for bras, and we didn't have bras, or underwear, and there was no underwear. And I specifically remember this woman came in and she's like, I've been on my period, I have no clean underwear.
I was just going to say that.
Like, she's got no supplies, she's got no, you know, hygiene supplies, and no clean underwear. Like, how are you supposed to go into your job interview with, you know, blood-stained pants and be like, hey, give me a job. I don't even have clean underwear or clean pants or feminine hygiene products. You know, it's just...
You want to give money because usually that's what we have most readily available when we see people that are standing there. But at the same time, then what are they going to do with that money?
Right.
They have to go somewhere to use it. They have to go, you know, it's like... Often, if I see people standing outside near a restaurant and I'm going in there, I just
give them your extra food.
Get a chicken sandwich, you know.
Taco and nachos, and gave this guy went to get tacos, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I saw a guy standing outside of Tasty Tacos, and I was like, you know, I don't know what you like, but here, and he just like, thank you, and he ate like he hadn't eaten in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so. I feel like sometimes if you're able to, that's easier on them to give them something tangible rather than somewhere where they have to, you know, find a way to spend the money.
Right. And if you're going to donate money, that's okay. If you're going to donate money, give the money to the shelter because, like, SIS uses money to buy underwear and bras because those are things that aren't donated, and they have an entire room, like an actual, like, huge closet full of shampoo, conditioner, body lotion. Like, they do not need that. They don't need soap. They don't need, you know, combs and medicine. They don't need that stuff. They've got so much. What they need is underwear and socks and bras, brand new in the package, because people will donate used, like, bras and underwear. And I mean, maybe bras. It's like buying a swimsuit, I guess. But, you know, even if it's washed, it's just, you don't wear other people's underwear. It doesn't matter how low you may be, you know, don't donate your used underwear.
Right.
So, my friend Bailey and I, who did the volunteering at SIS, we went out to Walmart the next day and we're like, you know, one time we can spend $50 each and just get however many packs of underwear we can buy, you know. I'm like, I'm so thankful and lucky to even just have a roof over my head and central air conditioning and, you know, a laptop and the means to go to school. And these people don't even have clean underwear. It was just that hit me.
I feel like a lot of times people don't, like, myself, like, I think about, like, them having not, like, clothes or food or shelter, but, like, a lot of times people don't think of the specifics of, like, hey, they don't have underwear, or hey, like, women need tampons, or, like, you just don't think about that unless you're actually there to visually see it, kind of like you did.
Yeah, it was, you know, even going there, we were thinking about, like, what could we bring, and, you know, we're donating our time, but we could bring some things from our house, you know, that just things we don't use, you know, books and stuff to do, because, you know, what do you do all day when you're not able to hold down a job? You know, these people don't have cell phones to, like, sit around and play games on all day, and where are they going to charge those phones? And, you know, they don't let them, you know, sit around in the air-conditioned library all day. That's if they can even get to the library, you know, like, they can't just go into Starbucks and sit and hang out all day. Like, you have to buy something, and who can afford a $5 coffee? Like, I don't even pay for Starbucks coffee.
Oh gosh, no, it's ridiculous.
Like, yeah.
College, nope.
Yeah, right? I'm, like, working so I can pay for gas to get to school next week. Like, and, you know, like, everyone has their own, I think this is another thing that people don't realize, is, like, everyone has their own hardships. Like, I live at home in my parents' house, and, you know, I work as a waitress on the weekends to pay for gas to get to school. Like, I don't really have any spending money, and that's really hard for me. Like, growing up, you know, well off, I mean, we never had to worry about food on the table or a roof over our head.
Right.
That wasn't a stressor in our life. And so a stressor in my life is paying for gas to get to school. And
time management.
Right. And it's like, that's really hard on me. And then you step back and you're like, people don't have clean underwear. Like, your life is okay.
Right. I completely agree with you. I absolutely agree. I remember when I did a mission trip a few years ago to El Salvador, and it's probably the same thing. So eye-opening, and even more so when it's in your own community, I'm sure. That's why I'm so excited to do this. But I mean, just going to somewhere where people are really not well off. And I remember we gave them toothbrushes and toothpaste, and they had no clue what to do with them. And the kids were taking the toothpaste, and it was bubblegum flavored, and literally eating the tube, squeezing the entire thing in their mouth. And I'm like, first of all, stomach ache. Second of all, what just happened? I mean, when they don't have it or they don't have food, they
don't know what to do with it.
Don't know what to do with it, and they don't have the resources to even educate themselves. And I feel like it's the same in our community, but it's easy to turn a blind eye to it when you have so much going on, like school, work, everything else, trying to have a social life.
Right.
It's easy to ignore what's going on even in our own community. So I'm glad we're doing this, and I'm glad this is what we chose.
Yeah, me too.
I agree. I think it's really great. Let's see, where do we leave off for? Other community needs, and hit on this as well. Describe any other needs and challenges for the community being served. Health, social justice, transportation. We talked about all that. Right. Education. Oh yeah. So it did say that they have that the education thing for children.
For the kids, yeah.
Yeah. So who is that affiliated with? Joppa Kids, yeah. Do you know?
I don't know for sure. She talked about it last time I was there. Just briefly, because I was asking her about, like, what kinds of other things do you do, or do you just feed the homeless, you know?
Right.
And they said they just do, like, basic education, like reading, writing, math. I don't know if that's through another organization or if they have, like, teachers that volunteer, or, you know, even just, like, volunteers can teach
Right.
reading, writing, and math. So I'm not sure. Or if they, like, fund kids to go to public school or something. I'm not sure. We should ask about that when we go.
Yeah. The next one says, identify if any other organizations or agencies exist that are serving the same community, which I said that there definitely are other agencies in Iowa that are geared towards helping fight homelessness, and I listed several. But I said Joppa's main difference is that they are also an outreach community. So I said many shelters and other groups provide a place for the homeless to go and food for them, but Joppa actually goes out and delivers these resources to them, helps them find housing long-term, provides resources for education. And then I kind of gave an example of, I feel like they're kind of a combination of like a homeless shelter and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, in the way that they try and form relationships with these people rather than just providing a roof over their head and saying revolving door, like come in when you're hungry, or you know, we have a bed available. They try and build more of a relationship with these people to try and get them from point A to point C, you know, rather than just A and B.
Yeah.
I kind of brought up the fact of the river bend also, because when we went to St. Vincent de Paul, whenever, Amanda, you've been talking about, like, they have clothing that they can go through, or, like, at St. Vincent de Paul, they had a room that was, like, strictly all clothing that people could go through, and then they had an area that was, like, refrigerated food and, like, dry food that they could have, and another room that was, like, a holiday room where they had, like, Christmas, Valentine's, like, just so, like, people actually have stuff where they can actually, like, still celebrate things, or they had a bookstore. Like, it was just so cool to be able to go through that and see, like, hey, wow, they actually have quite a few things here for these people.
Yeah, right. Where was that?
That was at the St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay.
So it was, like, around that Riverbend area.
Yeah.
And that was on the walk?
Yeah.
On the tour.
Cool.
And then they had, like, a little education room that, like, we talked to a gal in there, and she talked about how, like, people come in there and they teach them a lot of kind of language stuff just to keep them, like, up to date with their, like, age groups, and it was awesome to walk through.
Yeah.
It's great. So that is a good similarity.
Yeah.
For sure.
So uniqueness, I guess that kind of also ties into that. Explain any distinctive features, aspects that your community partner may have that sets them apart from any or all other like agencies.
I think the outreach is the biggest thing. You know, they're not just providing services in this building and these people have to come to the building to get the services. They're taking things out in the community so people who don't have the transportation or can't walk 5 miles to get to the nearest shelter or whatever, you know, they don't have the means to get to a certain place, and they can still have those services and be with those programs.
Yep, that's kind of what I said too. I said I just feel like it combines all of the other agencies together.
Yeah, for sure.
The outreach is big.
Yeah.
And then it says explain why you and your team have chosen to serve. And I just said because we believe in speaking for everybody.
Yeah.
We choose to serve because we believe in the importance of helping those who are unable to help themselves in a time of need. Homelessness can happen to anyone. It can be short-term or long-term. And that the best outcome is to get people to help themselves.
Yeah. I don't think I could have said it better.
So, and then lastly, describe the primary focus of your team and what needs are you meeting, how objectives. I feel like this is an overall.
Yeah.
How are you helping build the capacity of your CP? Be specific. I just said our primary focus is to help prep meals, deliver them, because I didn't know what all you guys had signed up for, but I said to prep meals and deliver them to the homeless in the community of the Riverbend area in Des Moines. This is helping to fight hunger in our city. I signed up with the Joppa meal team and prep for delivery days and outreach meal prep days, and then I kind of listed what I had scheduled. I said that I believe this is helping build the capacity by being more hands for the volunteer program. Donating your time is very important and invaluable.
Yeah.
As a servant leader.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's pretty much everything we've been talking about as well, like throughout this conversation. So
yeah. The end.
Yeah.
I think overall we all have the same outlook on why we're doing it and how important it is, and that it's a real thing, and it is easy, like I said, to really ignore that.
Yeah.
Especially when we all get busy. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I think we hit it.
Paige, you're gonna call today to get your.
Yes, I'm going to try and call her since you said that you got a hold of her later at night. I can't get a hold of her around like 7:30.
And we'll send you what we signed up for.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
That way we can hopefully put on the calendar today. Yeah.
Yeah. When
awesome.
I called her.
Yeah, I'll try and sign up for the full day one along with you guys.
Okay.
To be able to just do that.
They might be filling up. I'm going to quit recording. We're done.